Children love puppies. Madam Chair, fellow Toastmasters, I knew a little girl named Sarah who was no different than any other children. When it came to puppies, she absolutely couldn't resist. Sarah was a petite little 5-year-old, blonde, strawberry blonde, curly hair, big, huge brown eyes with just eyelashes that wouldn't quit. She was the most adorable looking little girl you've ever seen. And she was in love with the puppy next door to her. This puppy, copper brown, Cocker Spaniel. She was 2 years old. The puppy's name was Sparky. Every day, Sarah would go over to the next door neighbor's house and would love romping around the backyard with Sparky. Her little, tiny little 5-year-old arms would throw the ball as far as a 5-year-old could. And Sparky would run after it, come back, and drop the ball at Sarah's feet. They would just keep on going, hours and hours on end. Sarah really loved doing this, and she kind of thought, well, it would be kind of nice if Sparky could live at my house, because then I could get up in the morning and Sparky would be right there. I wouldn't have to come over to the neighbor's house, and I wouldn't have to leave her here when I have to go home for my dinner. I could just have her all the time. So she would ask her parents, and every time the parents would say, no, Sarah, just can't. We just can't have a puppy in the house. I'm sorry. Even when she had her big eyelashes at her dad, and her dad just almost couldn't resist, but still every time Dad would say, no, no puppies. She didn't really like this very much, but she didn't have much choice. She was only 5. She just had to do what her parents said. One day she's in the backyard playing along with Sparky. She happened to overhear the neighbor talking to somebody, and she heard words like retirement, Florida. Sarah was a little bit confused. She wasn't sure what was going on. So she went home that day, and she says to her mom, Mommy, what's retirement? Her mother explained it to her. Mommy, where's Florida? And her mother explained that Florida is many, many miles away from here, Sarah. I'm afraid if we were to drive there, it would take a whole day to get there. Sarah kind of thought, it would take a long time to go see Sparky. Sparky's in Florida. That wouldn't be good. But she still would go, and Sparky was there every day, so she didn't know something was coming up. Until finally one day she went next door to go play with Sparky, and the neighbor said, oh, I'm sorry, Sarah, don't have time to play today. We're packing up. We're leaving next week for Florida. She was heartbroken. Sarah realized that meant that me and Sparky were to play with anymore. So she's kind of put her head down, kicking rocks on the way back to her house. So sad. She went right up to her room, curled up in her bed, with a blanket around her, and just stayed there for the rest of the day. She just couldn't get over the fact that she wasn't going to be able to see Sparky anymore. Mom tried to cheer her up. Even the promise of chocolate chip cookies wouldn't get her up from under that blanket. Every day went by. Sarah would be at the kitchen table at breakfast, pushing her Rice Krispies around in the bowl. Wouldn't eat them. Parents just didn't know what to do. Sarah just wasn't going to come out of this funk. Several months later, it's Sarah's 6th birthday. So she's having the birthday party, kids are trying to play pin the tail on donkey, and Sarah still had not come out of that funk. She was like going through the motions, but she just wasn't in a party mood. Even when it came time to be at the table, they got the cake, got the candles on the cake. Mom calls Sarah to the table, says, come on, Sarah, make a wish, blow out your candles. Sarah decides, piano in one hand. She shuts her eyes real tight. She blows all the candles off. All the light off the candles. The kids are going off playing again. Sarah's playing around in the cake. She really wanted it. A little while later, there's a doorbell ring. Sarah's mom says, "Oh, Sarah, why don't you go check out who's at the door?" Okay. Sarah goes walking over to his door and she opens it up. There, standing on her doorstep, was her old neighbor. Sarah was so happy to see her. And the neighbor had this big, huge yellow bag in her arms. The bag seemed to be moving around a little. Sarah's like, "What's happening?" And the neighbor says, "Well, happy birthday, sweetie," and hands over the bag. And Sarah goes to reach it. She says, "Oh, it's a little bit heavy. What's in there?" She opens up the bag. Just as she put her head down, up pops this cute little face, and what it was, it's a tiny 12-week-old copper brown Cocker Spaniel jumped up and licked Sarah in the face. And Sarah realized that this is her gift. She's got her very own puppy. Finally, she went running off back into the kitchen. She said, "Mommy, Mommy, my wish came true." And from that, of course, Sarah was the life of the party for the rest of the day. And for a good 15 years after that, Sarah and her puppy were in heaven. Madam Chair.